Motor outdoors, here we come. Motor outdoors, here we
Welcome to the Border Outdoors Podcast. I'm back.
I'm Jim.
I'm leaving.
For everyone that's listening, go on YouTube. This eventually we're doing a live stream thing. It'll end up on YouTube eventually. I don't know when that is. That's Scott's thing. I don't know how big a pain in the ass.
Should post same day.
Tuesday.
Should post same day. If you're in your car listening to this right now, go to work, blow off work, go to YouTube, look it up. This video should be waiting for you.
Perfect.
Don't look at it when you're in the car.
Yeah.
If I've done my job correctly, this video is waiting for you. If I didn't, well, shit, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe check tomorrow.
But we're just going to talk about what's been going on here the last, couple weeks. Everyone's been kind of busy doing different stuff, and we'll have a couple updates on some things that we've been doing. So with that being said, Seth.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you and Corey, we have this big turkey contest, and I don't think I'm going to be able to go turkey hunting. So how has turkey hunting been going for you guys?
It's been rough. I'll sum up how my season's gone so far. I've not gotten out much. I think anybody that's in Minnesota knows the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season was terrible. We were still plowing snow and freaking dealing with terrible, terrible weather conditions. So it's not that a guy couldn't have gone out and killed a turkey then, but who the frick wants to go out when it's snowing and sleeting and cold and F that. So Corey and I did get out. We both got out to some public land about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago maybe. And
Nice.
Yeah. I didn't see it, dang it. I had action. I never had any toms come in, but I got my blind set up. I was in well before light, and then just as shooting time was coming up, like literally I look at my watch, I'm like, oh, it's shooting time in like 1 minute. And I look up, and my Primo decoy that sits on a stake, it was pretty windy. It was like 30-mile-an-hour winds that day. But I was back in the woods a bit, and I'm like straight in to see it, and the thing's like straight up in the air. Like it tipped off the stake. I'm like, oh, frick, man. So like I start climbing out of the blind, and literally as I'm leaving my blind, some frickin' tom just starts lighting up. Like, dude, I went into panic mode. I was like, they always sound closer than they are. I'm guessing he was a couple hundred yards away because the wind was blowing towards me. But, I run out there, I fix my decoy, I get back in, and he spent the next half hour gobbling like crazy. I called back and forth a few times, but he never came in. I had a deer come in. I had a sandhill crane come into my decoys and take off flying. I had 4 different hen turkeys come in throughout the morning. But that was it. No toms, no jakes, nothing like that. And then, frick, man, the last 2 times I've tried to get out hunting, my kids have just been on this fun cycle of, hey, I'm gonna puke today, or hey, I literally asked work this last Friday, hey, can I come into work 2 hours late? Like this was 3 p.m. 3 p.m, I asked my boss, can I come into work 2 hours late tomorrow? I'll stay late to make up for it. I'd like to go turkey hunting. Conditions are perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. An hour later, the freaking daycare lady's calling me. Yeah, your kid just puked all over himself and all over my deck. Can you come and get him early? I'm like, dude. I had to stay home with him on Friday, and which is fine. But yeah, man, it's just it's been a lot of schedules not quite lining up. But we still got till the end of the month. I'm still planning to get out at least a couple more times. And I've said it about turkey hunting before. Killing one's the goal, but man, it just feels so good to get out there in spring weather and listen to the birds and watch all the activity and deer and other animals running around. So it's fun. I'll get out, but I have not killed one yet. And I understand why I haven't. I'm cursed. What I don't understand is why Tim hasn't shot in underwear yet.
I shot a nice tom with my camera a while back. I sent that picture to you guys. I was one of those days I was going into work a little bit later in the day, and actually I had to come home from the gym to bring Addie into work into school. And
Yep.
there was a really nice looking tom out there in the field with I think it 6 or 7 hens following him around. And
Nice.
he's all strutted up. I'm like, oh god damn it!
Nice.
I wish I would have been hunting that morning.
Right. I actually was driving around with Ethan today because Jackie's working from home. He was sick. I had to get him out of the house. She had meetings and all this stuff. So I just went to Holiday and grabbed a coffee and was just driving around cruising. And I went up to some public land, one spot that I've hunted before. And I was like, you know what? He's watching a Cars video on my phone or something. So I'm just like, I'm going to pull up to this logging road and just sit here and roll the window down and just relax. I wasn't there for 2 minutes and freaking turkeys walked across about 150 yards ahead of me. I was like, dude, if I freaking had my bow, I'd lock this kid in the car right now and take off running. But it was fun to see. So, but
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of guys out killing turkeys. Guys are making it happen. But man, Corey's had some. I don't know if I don't want to tell Corey's stories for him, but he got out last weekend and he's been closer than I have so far. So,
have you guys seen Jeff's Altoff from Homegrown?
Yeah.
They've been killing some turkeys.
The turkey whisperer, holy shit, that guy.
Right.
Yeah, he shot one. Didn't he shoot one in Minnesota? Then the next morning,
in
he
Wisconsin.
Shot
I think vice versa, but
and then like he shot in like I don't know how it works with like Wisconsin, Minnesota, like landowner, but like he shot in like 3 or 4 big ass, and one of them was just a double bearded tom.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I don't know if they're all over there because, like, South Nebraska or South Dakota, you could shoot 2.
Yeah.
So like depending on what state you're in, every state's a little bit different. But he shot some nice birds.
pounded them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Come on, Scott. You live in Wisconsin. Shouldn't you be pounding them?
I am pounding them. I've got like 7 already. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Wild turkeys, 7 wild turkeys.
Yeah, he's on his 7th wild turkey.
I know why Scott doesn't shoot turkeys. They don't have balls, so he can't shoot them off. Go back to episode 1 if you want to hear what that means. So
I don't think episode 1's even on there anymore.
No, but I think the button buck, the dick off a button buck, was episode 3. The birth of a legend. That's first episode.
That's
so
right.
technically, it's the first published episode. Is that story?
And that we shared way too much information back then. If you guys want to know a lot about Seth's wife, if you're a stalker, you can find out when her birthday is, because Seth like lays that all out in that episode. He tells everything.
So my wife's bra size is an obvious.
Hey, my wife
Did you
listens
say
to
F?
this now, so now she's probably going to go back.
Oh,
now I'm going to get in
God.
trouble. So now,
Well, I'll tell you what, she looks like a tiny lady for double D's, but
She's gonna watch the video and be like, "Why'd you do it in that room? Like you couldn't give us a better backdrop." But
I believe in that episode, I refer to her as my angel, my precious.
you
So,
did.
you did.
I did
You
nothing
did.
wrong. I did nothing wrong.
You're in the clear. You're all
Yeah.
covered.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have not gone turkey hunting at all. I haven't even shot my bow yet this year. You guys did not explain to me how you do not have any fucking time when you have a kid to do anything.
Yeah. What's
we
the
told you
problem?
about that.
It's
What? What?
Crickets.
I thought Tim said something.
Oh no.
No, I said we told you about that time thing a long time ago when they have the kids.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like normally like, I could probably shoot. We're just in that weird. We're trying to figure out like the timeline, like to daycare, to come home, to daycare kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like in town, I can't really shoot. So it's either I got to get up super early, get him ready to go, and then I can shoot before work, which I've been really wanting to try. I think like anyone that shoots bow, it's a good stress reliever.
Well, you guys got a pretty nice facility up there for shooting bow too at your work, right?
Yeah, and up on
So I have-
Otsego, it's a public, like all free that goes out to, is it 60 yards?
60 now, right? Yeah.
Yep. And you can just go up there and shoot pretty much sun up to sundown. And it's normally I used to do it right after work, but I gotta leave to go pick him up from daycare, so that's why it just threw me off a little bit. But he's getting bigger now, so I can put him in the car seat and bring something with maybe and go shoot for a little bit. But
yeah, you keep them content in the little car seat and the stroller. You can get a couple rounds in.
Yeah, it's way different. Normally I can do whatever I want.
Not anymore. Not for another 18 years.
Yeah,
it's tough, man. And then it's just one of those things where you figure out a schedule. I mean, I'm still going through it with kids that are getting older now, but you lay everything out and you get all your work done, and you're like, oh yeah, Friday's going to be the day to do the things, and then somebody pukes or day was canceled or something. Just something happens. So
see, the problem right now is you guys still have hope, and that's unfortunate. See, as you get older, and I think Tim will back me up on this. Right now, your problem is that somebody has to stay home with the young child that can't care for itself. It's when they get a little bit older that what you have to do isn't at your home. It's at some lacrosse field or a baseball diamond or some practice or something else. And so your problem is no longer I have to sit at home with the kid. Your problem is we have to take 2 separate cars to 2 separate places to get this done, and then we got to get this updated, then we got to get back to this, and she's mad at me because the fucking flowers for prom wilted. That happened this week. Margaret comes home, and she's mad at me. The fucking flowers wilted. And she's yelling at me. I'm like, what? I don't understand what I did here. You went to the flower place. Who cares if the flowers are wilted? These kids are going to be shirts off and fucking around in 5 minutes anyway. But anyway, your problem right now is that you have hope. Is that you think you're going to be able to do things. Yeah. Thankfully, soon enough, there will be a schedule that clearly shows you have no free time for the next 3-4 months. And then you stop.
You have no me time.
Well, and that's you guys
just move on.
That's what's saying with the schedule. So we had, it's Mother's Day weekend. So we had Sunday all planned out. We had this to do, XYZ, all this stuff to do. Tiger King. Seth,
my camera is so fuzzy. I'd rather you guys look at the Tiger King while I try to fix it.
Dude, I've been laughing the whole time because for people watching, and it's not good audio, but whatever. Seth has been going in and out of the chat, trying to clean his camera off, and every time he cleans it off, it comes blurrier and blurrier every time.
That's because you're using the wrong damn rag.
Yeah, stop using your skunk rag.
But no, so we had everything planned for Sunday, and then now he's sick, and it's oh fuck, do we cancel everything to not do it? It's
right.
Yeah, I don't know. That's fun.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
Yeah, it's something.
You just got to power through it. Sick kid or not, you just got to power through it and get your shit done. I know it's a kind of a disaster sometimes, but
eventually you figure it out.
Look at the dog.
Eventually you figure it's no good.
Fucking Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
Your dog brought that in?
Yeah. The garage is shut.
That's awesome.
I'm what the hell are you doing? He cut a Nightcrawler in 3 pieces.
I'll give you $1.
You said the garage is shut. Did he suck that thing in through the bottom of the door?
Touch my tongue.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
No, to get back on track. So, I haven't gone turkey hunting, but I do have something cool I do want to say. So, I took rough out shed hunting. What was that? 2-3 weeks ago?
Yep.
A buddy of mine came up, Zach. He's got a black lab named Remy. I put it on the community page for you guys that have already seen it. And Remy is a professionally trained shed dog. He's really good. And Ruff kicked his ass. It was fucking weird as shit. Zach's well, how much training have you done with him? what? Like
Who's on the bone once in
not
a
a
while.
whole lot. Like it was like Remy found the first one of the day, and it was kind of like it. You could like almost see like a switch just it clicked in Ruff's head. And if there was a bone within 100 yards, femur, didn't matter what it was, he was bringing it back. We went up to a bunch of public land up by Seth, and it was like every 5 seconds he was bringing some type of bone back. And I had like a whole handful of bones because they don't know the difference between a shed or a femur, or so you praise them for it. And I just kept throwing them to the side, and then he was up running around somewhere else, and he'd bring it back.
Sweet.
But I do have a picture, or the shed here, a couple of them that he did find. So this is pretty cool. So he found this deadhead.
Oh,
A nice
Wow.
8-pointer,
dude,
9-pointer.
look at that.
Get out of there. And it's been sitting for a long time, and it wasn't that far from my stand. Like it's got like moss growing on it.
Yeah,
So it's been there for a while.
right.
And I've walked past it a million times and never saw it.
Isn't that crazy?
So either it got shot and died in the middle of winter, but so he found, get out of there. He found this, and then
Yeah, that's you praising him,
saw
right?
this one.
Yeah.
This was his first one he found, was this
Nice.
four, but like it's hard to see. But this buck was a fighter. Like it is all beat up.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
it is. Like he chews on sheds all the time,
Yep.
and they're not this beat up. So like this is a fighter.
That's crazy.
And then he found this son of a. This is the biggest one he found of the day.
Whoa.
You look at it like this is a nice buck. This is
Yeah.
probably like the biggest one I've ever shot.
Mhm.
And then this one,
The G2 and G3 on that one are
it
crazy.
like look at like how big that fucker
It's
is.
a long
That's
finger
awesome.
Yeah. So he did, and then he got another one too. That's actually right here that he's been kind of gnawing on. It was just a tiny little, like these are all. It's weird. They're all right-handed. So like it's like the genetics. It's like it looks like it's almost the same buck,
Right.
but
Right.
the genetics are all the same. So like this was be this year. Next year this buck's gonna be this big. I don't have, obviously, but it's so funny. The genetics are so good, and then this is the other when they're little. But yeah, he's been chewing on this.
That's hilarious.
Here.
Dude, that's awesome. That had to be so exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Watching him come back with that first one, you must have been so pumped,
I was like, because when we went out there, Zach, because we went to the private land that I've been bow hunting for the last couple of years, and he's like, "All right, how many do you want to find?" I'm like, "I think the number should be 3. Like, if we can find 3, that's a really good day."
Right.
And he's like, "Normally a good day is 1. Like, if you can find any, like that's a good." Within the first 10 minutes, Remy found one.
Nice.
And then like we went and bought these vests from Cabela's because the Blaze Orange, like Seth, we were talking about it, and you're like, all the stories of people turkey hunting, it's like people are getting dumber and dumber. Like
Dude, it's crazy.
So we went and bought Blaze Orange vests for him, and Remy's a little bigger than Ruff, so he got like a size up. And Zach's asked me, he's like, "Is there any barbed wire fences?" And I was like, "Yeah, there's one on this side of the property, blah, blah, blah." So we get up in the CRP field, and it's like 2 dumbasses, 2 dogs in an open field, and they're 100 miles an hour just flying, not listening to nothing. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be a long fucking day.
Yep.
Then Remy runs over into the neighbor's land, and Zach's like, no, come back. He hits him with like the e-collar.
Yep.
So he stops on a dime, turns around, and comes flying back in
Oh,
the
God.
one spot where there's a barbed wire fence coming out of the ground like this to a pole.
there. Wow.
And
Yep.
he hit that thing full bore right in the center of his chest
No.
and just tumbled. And Zach's like, oh, and he's freaking out, which he should have been. And then like the vest is still sitting on the barbed wire fence. And
Oh.
Remy's like, looked like he just got like the wind knocked out of him. So Zach grabs him. He's looking over his legs, and he's like, he's not bleeding. The one barb hit the vest and stuck in the vest and then ripped it off, and then he tumbled, so he never got hurt.
Oh, nice.
Thank goodness.
I was like,
Thank-
that was pretty cool. And then like 10 minutes or like 20 minutes after that, there's a big creek that runs through the land. And Ruff decided for some reason the creek's 10 feet higher than it normally is, that he's going to jump full bore in the creek. He jumps in the creek, he tries to turn around, and he starts paddling, and he's not going anywhere. And he starts going back and back and back, and the current's taking him. And then there's a dead tree going across the freaking creek. So I'm panicking, and I'm trying to run down there, but it's like probably like 10 feet deep. And then he happened to just grab the side of the freaking, like, there's like a little thing that came out. He grabbed it and was able to climb back up on it. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Nice.
So
He's
has
like,
he
"Yeah,
ever
goodbye,
really been in the
King
water
Dodge."
much? Has
What's
Ruff
up?
ever been? Has he been in the water before?
Yeah, we took him out last year. He loves water. Like he's a natural swimmer, like every lab. But I didn't know how the vest was gonna react to like the current, and if it was gonna like suck him down, because if it was like the water's gonna pull up like a parachute.
Well, yeah, it might weigh him down, or you never know.
Yeah,
Those vests, though, you showed me that vest last time I was over, and it was kind of like a Kevlar material almost, wasn't it?
yeah. So like they
that's
have
why-
like life jackets for dogs, like for hunting and shit. But no, it was a fun day. Like we put on with the Onyx, I think we put on over like 6 miles, just us walking. And then like when we left, because we went to the private land, then we went up to the public land, and we didn't even like we got in the truck. We didn't even get out of the property of the public land, and Ruff was sleeping. So you figure like how much they're running around. They probably put on over a marathon for like our 6 miles. They probably put on over 20 miles running around.
It'd be cool to have a
Oh.
GPS tracker on him.
Yeah. So
Just to see
I
the
thought he
miles.
was. I thought he was dead because he wasn't crying in this kennel. Like I didn't know what was going on. No, it was a lot of fun. It gets super addicting when it comes to like shed hunting and like you're looking at like your target deer or the deer you're gonna get next year or what's there, and it's a thankless job. What the fuck is Seth doing?
He must be rubbing off his camera. Seth, this isn't you porn anymore. Wrong channel.
What is that long string coming out of his
Trying to clean that freaking lens.
It's better.
Still got some fuzz on it though.
But
Why,
Yeah.
why did it have smegma on it?
I got a cotton ball for my wife's nail polishing kit. And they left little white cubes on my screen. I don't know, boys. I don't understand. I've cleaned a lot of lenses. I don't know why
It is better.
it is a lot
It is.
better.
Yeah. Apparently, cotton balls and masturbation are what does it. So
These are happy tissues.
Those had tissues are happy.
Yeah,
tissues.
happy tissues. So.
Well, your wife is gone, so there's probably a stack of them up in the corner.
Oh man, I was listening the whole time, Mac, and yeah, shed hunting's fun, man. Especially when you start finding them. Can you imagine if you could bring Ruff out to freaking homegrown now?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I found more sheds in Minnesota than I have in Wisconsin, and Wisconsin is like the world's, best in that county.
Right.
you can
I
just,
found
you can
more
stop
than
at world
all of
class,
you
we are
guys that
better.
weekend.
Well, I'm not
you
gonna brag.
didn't.
But not gonna brag, but I think I found all mine on my own. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mac, you didn't find any. Your dog found them.
Hey, that's what he's for.
Yeah.
But he
Yeah.
was like, did you guys know that like a typical like
Somebody
shed
about to
dog-
get attacked by a monster.
Yeah, what was that? song?
no, that's that goddamn diesel truck driving by. It sounds like a fucking trombone.
Okay.
I'm outside.
Oh,
Good on.
Border outdoors.
Yeah,
I'm
get
recording
back
outside.
get back on topic. So like
All right.
we're talking about like you're out, you're pretty much hiking through the woods, and you get to talking about shit. And Zach was like, "Have you ever watched like the professional trackers and like the dogs that actually like are professionally trained for shed hunting? Like you just follow them, Like
Sure.
it's like pheasant. Like they go in the woods, they get, and then you're not looking because like we're looking around too in case they miss something. But like he's like when you got a good dog, you just follow the dog to wherever you're gonna go, and they find everything.
Sure.
Well, it just makes you wonder, what is that dog initially looking for? Is he sniffing the deer tracks themselves, or what are they looking?
Like, when you go, so I knew that in this property that we went to, the sheds they dropped late. It was like March, early April, and I think we went the weekend after Easter. And the one that he found, it looked like it was just dropped. So like they have like there's blood and stuff on the antler and the scent. So when they drop the antler, then all of a sudden, it's like shooting a deer. That track is going around.
Oh, yeah.
And then like when it was funny because on the same property I go turkey hunting, we walk in, the sun just came up and the freaking toms are just gobbling galore.
Yeah.
Like just "Bah! Bah!" And then you could see them. They're like 40 yards away just in the thicket. Both of the
Jeez.
dogs are pretty much running around them and they could give two shits. So Seth, I gotta take you out there now.
Yeah.
That'll help you out.
Yeah. I'd love to go out there and miss one.
Yeah, I'll just go oversleep this time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's funny with those turkeys. If you're not targeting them, then it seems like they stick around.
Right. And like, so the sheds you guys found, and like you pointed out, like a couple right sides, no lefts or whatever. Like, I'm just always fascinated. Where's the other side? Is it on the property? Is it a mile away? Like what the heck?
yeah, I like when we went out to homegrown and Sam found that matching set. Like you guys are like, oh, you found a mat. And I'm like, yeah, like whatever. But after you find one, it's like, where the fuck is the other one?
Right.
Like I want to see, like, is it goofy on one side or like is it symmetrical? Like
Right.
yeah, we only found the right sides besides that dead. Like that's all, we couldn't. We looked like we went back and forth. We did a grid pattern. Like when we'd find one, we'd really search an area, and that I know for a fact they're not in there.
Sure.
Well, and like like Sam's matching set.
Sorry,
Four-part
I gotta pee. I'm still on.
like Sam's matching set, they were only 15 feet apart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right in that same little crest by
That's
that
what
water.
you'd hope.
Yeah.
Well, and you see the videos of the guys that have like trail cameras of whitetails and elks, where all of a sudden they'll stand up and they'll go like that, and they'll just go bloop, and they'll fall right off.
Yep.
And
Or you'll
like,
see a trail cam and you got one side still hanging there, so that other side could be miles away.
that's what
Right.
that's what's saying. It's like, where the hell is that other one?
Yep.
And it's not a very big property, so like, I don't know. I really like going into like, I know homegrown, they have the food, like they have the amount of food for. This is where they're going to spend the most amount of their time, so this is where the most likely going to be sheds.
Right.
When we went in, we went strictly bedding areas, and that's where we were successful. Is where they're laying down. I know where the food is. The food's on a different property, but this is where they're coming back to lay down, and this is where all the rubs and the scrapes and everything else are. So we searched the whole property, but we strictly first went to bedding area, and that's where we found all of them was in the bedding, where they're laying down and they stand up and it hits a log or a tree or branch and then it pulls it off. And so
Yeah.
Well, that's like the whole time at homegrown when we were walking through some of those spots, like in the cornfields. I'm looking for that standing corn where it got really tight, hoping that'd be a spot that would knock a shed off somewhere. But
and it was the same thing. I walked right past it. Like, at least I think it was not the big one, but the first one we found. I walked right past it, and then all of a sudden, I kept trying to call him over, and he was sniffing. And Zach's like, "What's he sniffing?" He's like, "He's probably found one." And then all of a sudden, I walk over, and I sent you guys the picture. He's like laying down, chewing on it.
Dude.
And it was like in the wide open. Like I walked right fucking past it, and he found it. So
You know what I thought was really funny, Mac, is you guys are going to head out and try to get 3 or 4 properties that day, maybe some state land, and you've got that one chunk of private that you got permission, not far from me, but the water was so high this spring, dude. That whole freaking property was underwater.
Yeah, we drove by because I was gonna swing in there, and then when we drove by, it was we went there last year,
Yeah,
and the river wasn't that high, and all of a sudden I was like, because I think it's the St. Francis runs right through it, and that whole thing was completely underwater, and that's where I was like, how many of these do you think are in like the rivers?
oh,
Like,
dude, so many of them.
He was telling me stories at golf courses how guys go in there to find golf balls and they find deer sheds all the time.
I can
Really?
see that.
In the ponds at golf courses.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no right or wrong, like where they're gonna be. They're just wherever they fall off.
You go out and play a little whack fuck early in the season, you might find some sheds. You never know.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. Frick,
But-
man.
No, that's all I've been doing. That was a really fun day. Like I was a proud dog dad, whatever you want to call it. Like I didn't spend as much time as I wanted to with him, but he's a natural. He did great. Like I have no problem taking him out anytime, and he just does his thing.
It's kind of cool to see that success, because I remember that day you brought him out to my house and we're like planting sheds like 50 feet in front of him. We're like, go find it. And he wasn't really finding a whole lot that day, but it seemed like he really clicked now. So that's pretty cool to see, though.
Yeah,
Good boy.
Like he heard you.
Yeah.
Nice job, Ruff.
Yeah.
Actually, I got a question. If we could switch gears, are we okay to switch gears?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I actually have a question, and it is related to something with Tim this week. Is that you are pro staff?
Well, kind of.
And but it's it's a thing you hear thrown around with outdoorsmen and whatnot. And like, what is pro staff? And then kind of what is the process of going there? What is the obligation? Things like that. People always hear that because they just think it's discounts. But I'm guessing, or free shit, whatever. I'm curious, what, is there obligation to this? Is there a process to doing it? Do you have, what's the story?
Well, as of right now, there's really not a whole lot to it other than Anton from Grim Outdoors. He just kind of helped me out. He has a contact that he has, and he had me give my information out, and now I have an account with. It's actually a lot of other things. I haven't gotten a chance to look at all the things that are included in this, but like Eskimo, Ion, there's some deer hunting blind stuff. I don't remember the exact brands, but as of right now, I don't have to go out and post things and say, "Hey, I got this stuff here, and this is what I'm using. This is how I'm successful." But it's basically, in a way, it's just a lot of great discounts on some of this equipment and
Awesome.
Accessories. So there's more to come on that. I'll learn a little bit more as I go here. I've been super busy lately, so Anton's like, that day he was texting me. He's like, "Hey, did you get the email yet?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got the email." Then 5 minutes later, "Are you signed up yet?" Are you I'm working. I got shit to do here. So yeah, no, a little more to come on that stuff. So
Nice. Nice.
Well, when we were first setting up Border, that had come out from the Brotherhood guys who had a deal with Sitka.
Yep.
And so I was like, well, why don't we get a thing with Sitka? And apparently Sitka had changed some things about how you can get their program, and so at the time we didn't qualify. We actually do now. I actually could sign us up now, because the thing is you need to be like one of a number of things. You need to be a guide, which means you need a guide permit. You need to show your Minnesota, Wisconsin, whatever guide permit, or we need to be at a reseller to where we could get something like that, and then you need to show a paycheck stub, or we're industry professional, which we are. We are industry professional.
For sure.
Professional
That's funny.
fellas.
I can't even get my freaking lens to clean off. I'm definitely a professional.
Well, maybe you need to work a deal with Dell.
Sadly, Seth, wrong industry. Your camera looks right for
Seth, your problem might be the plus with lotion.
But
stop using that.
but yeah, they wanted paycheck stubs, which technically, because Border falls under an LLC, technically I could produce a paycheck stub, and so we could do that. But Ken's, you talked to Vexlar
Yep.
earlier this year, and kind of a similar thing. A lot of times, these companies, they do it in the spring, and they sign up their companies, blah blah blah. Last year in the spring, we had a really great deal with Huntworth, and they sent us some gear. I've kind of been back and forth with Tracy Breen a bunch about various things, and Tracy got us set up with Huntworth and sent us that gear last year. It was great stuff. You guys got some great pictures.
Yeah, I like that gear a lot.
I mean, it's really good stuff. I mean, the four of us got it, actually. Good quality stuff. We had that fun video with it, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, it's just, you hear about that pro staff, but, in the case of like the Huntworth stuff, when I talked to Tracy, there were, I don't want to say obligations. He didn't necessarily say, do this much of this, do this much of that. But there was a bit of an obligation to try the gear, talk about it on the podcast, and we did. If you remember, a year ago, we talked about it. We were doing social posts, blah blah blah, and ultimately, I got a basement full of Sitka gear that I spent a fortune on, and then we got that Huntworth stuff, and I was like, I mean, this is good stuff. I did not expect that level of quality with it, and so yeah, it was just kind of going through and Tim, when you sent the thing this week with the Eskimo stuff, I mean, you were looking at better than $100. I think it might be 150, maybe even $200 off on an insulated ice, like an ice house, like a fish house.
Yep.
So I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
If
that's awesome.
If you're an outdoorsman and you're really into it and you don't mind looking into it, most of these outdoor brands have some degree of pro staff or affiliate programs that people can get into. So if you're really into Rage Broadheads or Huntworth or whatever, it's worth looking into. There's often some pretty good discounts, and the obligations are probably things you're doing anyway, which is, put pictures of yourself on social media doing the thing you're doing anyway. So
right, scissor hand duck face.
yeah.
And I looked at a lot of that, and it's weird that how a lot of the companies on, like, especially deer hunting, it's like only like one or two companies own like all of it. Like it's like Rage is owned by a company in Wisconsin called it's called like Adrenaline or something.
Yeah.
And they own like a bunch of different outdoor stuff that you wouldn't think of. Like I think they own like I can't think of it the top of my head. I don't want to say it wrong, but like it's like big names like Muddy, like just stuff like that. Like, you wouldn't think, like you go on there and it's like it takes you to the same link. And anyone that's out there listening, you can go on. Anyone can be pro staff with any of these companies. You just have to email or write or do something, and you can get a discount. Huntworth does have like we're fortunate enough they sent us stuff for free to test out. But you can join their pro staff and you can get like a $20 or 20% discount, 10% discount all the time on anything that you buy. And that's with Rage you just have to do the work to get to it.
Right.
And you're saving money. It's cool, but it's nice.
If you buy 3 or 4 pieces of clothing and save 20%, you can buy an additional piece of clothing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it adds up big time, man.
Well, yeah. And you look at, like, I've gone online to Huntworth just to kind of check out. Like, they have I saw a lot of it last year with, like, they have this new heated, like, bibs and stuff for, like, winter. That looks really, really interesting. And I'm like, I got to get a set. That's one thing I need to buy before deer hunting start is I don't have, like, a good set of winter bibs, jacket for when it's December, late season stuff. That's what I need to get because that's when I like going hunting. I froze my ass off. And I think we talked about before, like I have the Arctic Pro Arctic or Muddy, what was that muck boots.
Muck boots.
Yeah.
My feet were fucking frozen 90% of the time, and I think it has to do with being in a deer stand where you get like the wind coming up below, and I had like the steel toe ones, but it wasn't my toes that were cold. It was just like my feet.
Yep.
Like you're standing in a weird position, and you're not on the ground. Like
Right.
you need to like prepare for that. I couldn't get my feet warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like everything else was good, but my feet were cold, and since my feet were cold, the rest of my body was cold.
Yeah. That's all it takes.
You talk about heated bibs and all that kind of stuff. There's a company out there that's got. I know there's a lot of companies that have them, but there's a company out there that has the good heated gloves. My phalanges are so fucked up that I can't keep my hands warm enough. And I'm looking for a pair of electric gloves because it sucks. The winter's starting to get pretty hard on this old body.
Corey's the same way. Like I don't know what he did to his hands a few years ago, but like the other day we were doing something and I literally didn't have gloves on at all, and he's got like leather mitts on, and he said his hands are frozen. I'm like, what?
He's got like a leather mask and like a ball gag. He was setting up a swing. I don't know.
Well, it's so cool now because like even like I think Milwaukee is the big one. Like if you got a Milwaukee drill, you go buy the vest or the jacket, and you can literally take your battery and put it in there, and you can set it on different to stay warm.
And everybody I talked to that's got that Milwaukee heated jacket, like I've talked to, 3 people for sure that I've talked to that said you can't work with it on.
Yeah,
like unless you're an inspector on the job, or you're like an inspector would need it, or like a supervisor. But if you're actually slinging a hammer, he's like, it's too warm, like to have the thing turned on.
Yeah,
so,
and I know there's a brand of like it's pretty much a sleeping bag that you bring with you when you go hunting, and then you put your whole body in it, and it zips up, but your arms stay out. So then, like, you can still stand up, but you're like in a giant sleeping bag, so your whole body stays warm.
Yes,
and it's just crazy to see all of the stuff and technology and different hunting equipment, clothing that they've came out with heated. So we're near a deer stand, and it's November 7th, and it's 7 degrees, and everyone's freezing. You just turn on a button versus how the old timers used to sit. And they didn't have a buddy heater. They didn't have any of that. They just fucking sling like cigarettes in their deer stand and just pour more coffee.
Yeah.
Those guys are my kind of guys.
Right.
You also end up with.
Hey Mac, I'm sharing the screen right now. You should pull it up because it's that in-stand sleeping bag thing you're just talking about.
Yeah,
it's freaking awesome.
That's fucking crazy.
Doesn't that look nice?
Ridiculous. Yeah. Last week, not outdoorsy related necessarily, but we went to a baseball game. It was 40 degrees. It had like flurries.
40 degrees.
This week, yesterday, I went to a game and it was like 83 at 6 o'clock at night. And so my point is, some of these jackets and stuff, like people think we're crazy, but like I'll show up to a baseball game and I got like my striker jacket on, and I got like fucking muck boots, and I got like a buddy heater in the car. You get all this shit for hunting and fishing and everything else, but there are days that you're just going to plant your ass in a chair to watch something. There's no shame in breaking out all the shit you got. Like you spend money on it. It's yours. Like you get that buddy heater out and you set it up at that baseball game and you just fuck everybody else. That's just why I was going to actually bring that insulated pop-up shanty or whatever. I was going to bring that because I can just poke my head out the hole and be like, did he get a hit? It gets so fucking cold doing just random shit outside in the spring and fall, and you don't know if it's going to be 90 or 40. And so it's nice to have all this kind of shit that you can just whatever, like that Milwaukee jacket, fucking perfect. Because if it's warm out, just don't turn it on or whatever.
Well, and this is the new heat boost for
Heat
Huntworth,
boost.
is what they call it.
Hmm.
It's got like this Berber and stuff in it. And I mean, they look super comfortable.
That looks nice.
Yeah.
They
I
look
mean, they're
comfortable.
not cheap. I mean, it's $250, but
Yeah, Tracy, that looks really nice. Border Outdoors loves Huntworth. Tracy
Yeah.
Green. So yeah.
don't give
That
away
might
our
work.
content. But I think we lost Seth. Yep, there he is.
Wipe the screen off again.
I don't know what's happening.
But we're still figuring this out. Other than that, anybody got anything else?
I bought a boat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I got a. It's not that big a deal. It. Yeah,
What's
yeah.
that? What's
It's
that
a
Lonely
14-foot
Island
boat.
song, Scott?
It's a 14-foot Lund
Take a
boat.
good hard look at the
Yeah,
motherfucking boat.
Yeah. I'm on a boat, motherfucker.
The Pinto, the Santa Maria.
Dude, in the bottom while you're drinking sangria.
Oh man, it's a 14-foot Lund. It's a 1977 or 1975, I should say.
I was born in 1975.
There you go. So it's a good.
How old is that?
God, you're old.
48.
Yeah,
48?
48 years old. Trailer, and then the freaking guy had an awesome little 25 horse 1977 Johnson motor. Freaking thing works like a charm. Got a 35-pound thrust trolling motor and a battery that's perfectly good. Live well and a little Lowrance depth finder. Like it's all ready to roll. So
Wow.
What? That was a 25 horse?
yep. Mm-hmm.
So you can take that to the Boundary Waters.
I could. Well, you could on the border lakes, not in the
Yeah.
boundary waters.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, yep. But anyways, the guy had mentioned it last fall. A guy that I work with, he said his dad was probably just going to sell it. It's just been sitting around, and he threw out a number where I was like, "Frick, yeah, I blow more than that. I spend that much money a year on Ducks Unlimited raffles, you know, like." Because and,
I bet you blow more than that. That's how you got the fucking boat.
oh,
The
geez,
guy
my
mentioned
word,
it.
wisely. So I was like,
He
yeah,
said
why
they'll
not?
give you
I
a
bought
boat
it.
if you can keep a secret.
So I bought it from the guy, got the license and title and stuff all transferred, and yeah, I don't know. I was hoping to get out this week, but with sick kids and stuff didn't work out. But the boat's ready to go. Just got to get out there on the water, and I don't know. I just want to go out there, tool around the lakes, and have fun, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, be something different. I've said before, I'm not like Mr. Fisherman, like some of you guys are like. I'm an ice fisherman kind of, but open water, I kind of had to give up on that years ago. But I'd like to get back into it. So it'll be kind of fun to get out there and chase stuff around with the kids and troll for some pike and all that good stuff. So
Oh yeah, that's exciting. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had Ethan was helping, it's a boat trailer, so I had to rewire all the lights, right?
Yeah.
Like never fail. So just rewired all them freaking lights the other day and was putting in grommets, and my 3-year-old son Ethan's helping me pull wires and stuff like that, and that's what I got it for, man. Just something to tinker in. And I'm telling you, my kids are in that boat. It's in the garage. They're in the boat every freaking day, just playing house. Like they're having fun with it, even though we haven't even put it in the water yet. So whatever. If I sell it again in 2 years, big deal. It's been fun to have already. So
Those boats, like the boat you have, they're like the best boats.
dude,
For
it's
like
solid.
what you said, they're like the grumpy old men boats.
Yeah.
There's no seats. They just got benches. There's nothing fancy. There's no floor. It's just you can only get like 2 people in there. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's too jammed. And yeah, they're tippy. You can't like walk around in them.
Right.
Yeah, you walk from the back to the front, the damn thing's gonna tip over on you.
Yeah.
Flat on the floor. Yep.
That's what I used to have before I got my boat now, and I
Uh-huh.
and that Dirk's son has it now. But that we had so many memories in that boat trolling for northerns and just doing stupid stuff with you think you're going 100 miles an hour with that 25 horse in the back.
Right.
Like you get that thing planed out perfect. Oh yeah,
Exactly.
there's nothing to them. Like you can't get on the trailer. You can literally just grab it and just pull
Right.
it and move it
Yeah.
one way or the other. And you get your 5-gallon tank in the back. Like it's simple, just simple.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I figured, man. Small, easy to throw around. So when I'm loading it by myself with kids and all that stuff, and maybe I'll turn it into a duck hunting boat here one of these days or something. And yeah, it's been a fun project. Hopefully, I'm hoping I fall out of it or something by the end of the summer, so we got a good story to talk about. So we'll see.
You gotta take that
Me
thing
too.
We should
That's
take
my
that
hope
to
as well.
the boundary waters. We should go or up to like your lake trout lake and take it
Yeah.
up there and just troll for Lakers out of a 14-foot Lund.
I should,
How
man.
fun would that be?
I should. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm going to get on the water. We'll definitely get some stories and adventures out of that thing. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's such an old school boat. Maybe when Border really gets big, we'll give it away. We'll do a giveaway. We'll give away the old Scott special, the old 1975 and still alive.
You'll have to let me know when you get out. I got to get my boat out of storage, but
Yeah.
I'll find a lake that you're going to, and we'll go out.
Dude, yeah, with your boat, you'll buzz past me and swamp me right away. So
There's
You
a
guys do the
story.
figure eight.
We took it out, and then Matt came by and sunk me. Just pull that
like that
plug
scene
and hit
in-
the throttle.
yeah.
Be like the scene in Caddyshack. Like, you scratch my Inca or whatever.
We should recreate the grumpy old men scene where, like, I just need to go find a shitty boat and Seth can sit in, like, the waters on Grumpy Old Men too, and then you start fighting back and forth. I got every right to be here as you do. You
want to borrow Wyatt's boat? You can borrow Wyatt's boat for that
Oh,
part.
yeah, he's got the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
So,
Mhm.
well, that's all I got. Seth,
I think our speed is a little bit more the grumpy old men scene where he says, "So what do you want to do today? You want to get drunk?"
yeah.
My favorite
That's a little
quote
bit
is,
more the
"Hey,
grumpy
you
old
two."
men scene.
My favorite quote is still, "Hey, you two, get your asses in here."
She's gonna take the skin boat to Tuna Town.
It's like old Chuck is taking one old to the optometrist.
Take the log to the
Tomcat
beaver
on the
dam.
prow. Meow.
Show you my man-sized manicotti.
Would you like to come to back to my place to try my bony macaroni?
I'd like to mount you over my fireplace.
Well, I screwed it up. Out of all the fish in the sea, you're the only one that I want to mount over my fireplace.
That's what it is.
Did you
Mackerel.
know? That's what I should have said when Ruff found that worm. I should have been like, "Do you know that worms have male and female reproductive systems?" But anyways, well, with Border Outdoors, I'm Mac.
I'm Seth.
I'm Tim.
I'm Scott.
We'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks for listening to the Border Outdoors podcast. Follow us on Instagram and be sure to join, follow, and share the Border Outdoors Facebook community page. Also, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Spotify, Apple, or whatever podcast hosting site you listen to. Tune in next week, see what we're talking about, and make sure to get out there and make your own memories.